Hello everyone. So today's session, like you guys must have already observed, this week and next week, for 2 weeks as part of our syllabus, we have this post-independent Indian consolidation. So this is one very important topic. I'll tell you the reason why this is an important topic. So the weightage of questions which are coming from this particular topic might vary year on year. Let's say sometimes you get around 20 marks. There are some years where you may even have 40 marks also from this topic. But more than this 20 marks or 40 marks, in my opinion, knowing about post-independent India, you know, this will help you in writing a good essay. How? See, for many essays, it could be even a reflective topic. It could be even a reflective topic. We often think of, what would be a good introduction, or we often think in terms of, what kind of case study, I must be bringing to write a better, better introduction. Post-independent Indian consolidation is one such topic which will have a great impact on your essay writing skills by giving you the right content, isn't it? Is there any better case study or any better case or anecdotal aspect than quoting the development of our own country? Quoting our own country always fetches us good marks. So the point I am trying to say, don't think or don't prepare for post-independent Indian consolidation thinking that its weightage is confined only to this 20 marks or 40 marks art which keeps being asked. No, it will help you in your essays, and also certain topics which you read as part of the textbooks, which I'll come to the sources a little later. This also help you in writing good society answers. Okay, as part of post-independent Indian consolidation, we understand, how organization of states happened and what type of regional conflicts at that point of time happened, what type of demands for even separate nation happened at that point. All these things will help you a lot in your society also. Your society also have topics like communalism, regionalism, secularism, globalization. In post-independent Indian consolidation, we will study about, isn't it? We will study about LPG reforms. So LPG reforms also include globalization. So globalization and its impact on Indian society is part of our society syllabus. So this way, post-independent Indian consolidation also has a significant overlap with your society. And we also study a bit of land reforms and 5-year plans as part of the post-independent Indian consolidation, which are very relevant in your agriculture geography, which you read as part of your paper 1. Okay, and most importantly, there are many policies, some policies or certain aspects which government of India has done in its post-independent Indian phase. This will also help you in your science and technology. There is a topic called as technology missions. In that particular topic also, post-independent Indian consolidation works. Not to mention specifically in many topics of constitutional polity, often when we read the historical aspect of any of this, any of the particular law or any of the constitutional amendment, often, certain missing links still remain in our mind. Those missing links you can every time find by reading effectively the topic of post-independent Indian consolidation. So this is the reason why UPSC has given this topic. And also, while writing your ethics answers, while writing your ethics answers, especially reflective answers, I mean the code based questions, and even while writing other theory based questions in ethics, this will serve as good examples. Let's say you want to write an example for resilience. The way Indian economy has come out of emergency and bounced back so that it has revived its democracy is a very good example for resilience, right? So I think by this time you must have understood, and I hope I have convinced you guys enough to prove this point, that reading of post independent Indian consolidation gives you a substantial edge, not just in your, not just for the mains 20 marks or 40 markers, but it has a substantial overlap with many aspects of the syllabus. Due to paucity of time, I am not getting into greater depth and greater detail, but this much is more than sufficient for you. Okay, so having said this, now let's get into the most important part, which you guys must be waiting for clarity, because the next 2 weeks we have for reading this topic called as post independent Indian consolidation, that is the sources. Sources, yes, there are some popular books like India Since Independence by Bipin Chandra, and there is another popular book, India After Gandhi by Ramachandra Guha. Yeah, these are the popular books, no doubt. But for me, these are more in the nature of standard books for reference purposes. See, I'm not discouraging that you should not read these books. No doubt, these are wonderful books for reference purposes. You can or you should sometimes go back to these books for certain topics. But more than that, more than that, what I suggest, let's say you have taken coaching and you have written notes, or you have taken coaching and your coaching center might have given some material, or even if you have not taken coaching anywhere but still you have access to some institution material, any institution material that could be, or the class notes. If you have class notes, then that is wonderful, nothing is better than that. This can be your base notes. This can be your base notes. Now, would it suffice just reading the base notes? Definitely no. I'll tell what to do next. What you should do on top of your base notes. First, read base notes thoroughly. Okay, read base notes. Usually the base notes might be around 100 pages to 120 pages. This base notes, which is 100 to 120 pages, okay, if you read this once thoroughly, then this will give you a solid foundation. Solid foundation. On top of that, what I usually suggest, solve 40 questions. Solve 40 mains questions with model papers. Okay, and this 40 should be a combination of, both PYQs and also some institutions, they conduct test series, right? Now in market you have plenty of these kind of free materials available in the market. You just can go to any bookshop, or even online you have many sources. Put little bit of effort and meticulously compile this 40 to 50 questions. Meticulously compile this 40 to 50 questions. I would suggest you to take a printout, proper printout, I'm not a big fan of what you call digital material. Take a proper printout of this 40 to 50 questions, preferably 50 questions, because now we have time, luxury of time, rather than struggling next year when you have your mains examination. Do a little bit of extra work now only, isn't it? Because we have 2 weeks, right? Even if you read just 4 days, 4 hours a day, 5 into 5 Saturday, if you reserve for revision, 5 into 4 20, you have 40 to 45 hours, isn't it, for this topic? So in 45 hours you can comfortably complete 50 questions. So your base notes, on top of your base notes, this particular 50 questions, and I think, and of course we will also be giving as part of your daily answer writing, because you have 10 days, you have 10 days. So in this 10 days means Monday to Friday, 2 weeks, right? So I'll be giving not less than around 30 plus sectional test, some 10 to 15 questions. So this will be from my side, you will be getting around 30 to 40 questions. So 30 to 40 questions from my side, plus 40 to 50 questions which you are collecting from outside, plus your base material. Okay, this much of information is more than sufficient for you to comfortably finish your post-independent Indian consolidation. You don't need to do more than this. This itself is sufficient. Okay, then some of you may be thinking, sir, should we take notes? I don't think you have to take notes separately now. Reason being, maybe you already have a base notes, because that might be from the class. But even if you don't have a base notes, let's say the material itself you are having, right? Here, let me link this idea of base notes to brainstorming. Okay, here, how should you prepare? How should you prepare? So, I would suggest a preparation with a kind of brainstorming. Brainstorming means very simple. See the question, and try to actively recall the answer without looking at the model answer. Don't look at the model answer. Don't look at the model answer, because as you're all repeaters, at least let's say the question has 10 points. Because of the fact that you are a slightly senior aspirant, no doubt you will be in a position to recall at least 3 points. Some of you may be in a position to recall 7 points. Also simultaneously recall, how do I write a good intro? Recall, how do I write a good conclusion? Okay, how a good introduction, how a good conclusion. So this good introduction, good conclusion, all this also have to be actively recalled, and try to recall if there are any important keywords or any important facts, especially any important stats. Like this, try to recall. Even if you are not able to bring them, even if you are not able to recall, but when you read the model answers, when you are able to understand that, okay, these many points I can take out of this particular question, then actively just in that same paper which you have taken print out, write down these things which you could not recall. Let's say you could not recall certain keywords. So that itself will help you to actively revise. Actively revise. So this should be your strategy for post-independent Indian consolidation. Okay. So this will be your notes. And regarding answer writing, as I always interlink notes taking to answer writing. Okay. So if you sincerely write answers, if you sincerely write answers for all our questions which we are giving on daily basis, that itself will, have good base notes. That itself will act as new base notes if you already have one. On top of that, as you are already doing, as you're already doing the 30 to 40 questions, all this will help you in effective answer writing. And some of you may be thinking, are there any specific answer writing skills related to post-independent Indian consolidation? Not exactly, because how to write answer writing, this we have already discussed multiple times. And if you still haven't watched, there is this videos in our YouTube live, UPSC War Room. for each of the papers, for essay, for ethics, of course for GS 1, 2, 3, individually I have done sessions on answer writing. So make some time and try to watch that particular video also. So this should be your strategy for the next 2 weeks. For your understanding, let me write it again. Just give 4 hours daily, 5 days, 20 hours this week, 20 hours next week. So 40 hours ideally if you spend on post-independent Indian consolidation, that is more than sufficient for you to get confidence on this particular topic. So make good use, make best use of the time at your disposal. Okay. So let's have a quick recall. So what we should do. Okay, so sources, as I already mentioned, Bipan Chandra is one standard book. If you already have it, good, because sometimes when you are reading something from, you know, model answers, if you are not able to get complete clarity, just quickly go back to the notes and to the textbook and read it, because I repeatedly say this: never go book wise, go topic wise. This is what I say. And yes, I know the syllabus of the UPSC is a bit vague. UPSC has not identified, has not given this topic in detail. It has not given that, when it comes to society, it has given specifically 8 to 9 topics. But to be frank, they are not confining to that 8 to 9 topics. They are going beyond that 8 to 9 topics. If you are a serious aspirant, you would have already observed that. So here, this will act as the reference sources. That is the reason I suggested you all to solve model answers, because that will give you a boundary of including PYQs and model answers of the institutes with questions. So that will give you a boundary of this particular post-independent Indian history. And apart from that, I suggested your written notes and the institutions materials, institutions model answers is what I suggested. Then what else is suggested? Apart from this, yes, do daily answer writing regularly. That itself will give you a good base. And another important session I gave you is do more of brainstorming. Don't just read passively. Read the question, try to actively recall the answer. Something which you are not able to recall, or any point which you are not able to understand properly, let only those aspects be mentioned. Right? So these are the few things I want you to be aware. And if you have still not watched this UPSC War Room sessions, please do watch them. That will give you more clarity on answer writing specifically for each of these papers. Okay, so that's it for this today's session, and I'll be taking your essay discussion also this week. I'll be informing you guys in a couple of days, and of course any other doubts you can come. I'll be sitting at the institute. Yeah, thank you.